And five, four, three, two, one.
All right, we're live. It is Thursday, May 6th. You are listening to the Hi There Show. I am joined by my co-host. I can't say co-host. Other host, Ian Conrad.
I think it's co.
I
We're
think it's
co. We're each
co.
other's co-host.
You're a co-host, but like I'm also a co-host. You're not like, we're gonna be equal measures host. Hi everyone. We're live. It's Thursday night. You're here for the UX design show of the
Of
ages, I
of a
guess.
lifetime. Yeah, I'm the
Of the
co-host,
people.
Ian Conrad, joined with my co-host Nick Brunt,
All right,
also
we
UX designer.
also UX designer. Yes, of course. If you're new to the show, we are two UX people that like to get together and live design on YouTube. So what up, Ian? What's going on? What's to do with the week? We muddled through the intro. We're getting better
Yeah,
at it.
we're opening up where we left off with our Heroes journey.
Mm-hmm.
Time's flying, man. I'm still working on this plan for a workshop. I don't even know
What kind of workshop are
what
you
week it
doing?
is. We're trying to do a journey mapping workshop, and we're going to use FigJam. We got a
Oh, that's
bunch.
pretty cool.
We brought some. We had some new people. Three new people joined the team. I guess it was last week. Oh my god, I think I already mentioned it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's been an interesting process of like, how do you onboard new people with different levels of experience and different tools that they've
Yeah,
used.
it definitely. Well, I mean, I feel like every design department's probably come across that one at some point, haven't they? We need new people. How do we onboard them to our special process?
Yeah,
Because
it's
I mean,
it's
I'm assuming you guys have some sort of secret special process. I mean, that's the design game, right?
it's absolutely secret. Yeah, can't tell you too much about how that works because you know.
You know,
But yeah,
you know.
we discover and then we design. Something like that.
So you're deep in the research zone. I should also mention to the listeners out there that we are deep in the middle of a third lockdown where we live. Um,
Yeah, COVID
so that's
times.
kind of a neat one. We've been working all day, all night, and that's a pretty cool one.
It's hard to get it's like getting your head around another. It's hard to get my head around the fact that the numbers are like skyrocket higher than they've ever been here, I
Yeah.
guess. Like it's
Oh,
like, oh, like yeah,
well, and
third
we
wave.
live in a place that has gotten through generally pretty unscathed so far. Um, so yeah. Anyway, we've both been working at home nonstop. It is fun to be working again here online.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
deadlines have
pretty
been
cool.
nuts for me, so it's nice to have some time to chit chat and hang out and have some fun and maybe not worry about Jira tickets. This is a Jira free zone.
This is a Jira free zone. Really, that's I was kind of hoping I could get a couple tickets done while you were like talking or whatever tonight. Yeah, I'm that's funny. You're deep in the research zone. I'm deep in the design zone. Like I'm actually at a phase in a project where I'm actually making the thing that I kept talking about for months and months and promising people.
Ooh, fun.
So that's definitely fun. Yeah, I'm doing some graphic design, which is really cool to sit and spend time and actually do like the creative part of a file. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know, living that design lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm finding myself.
What are you sipping on right now? Are you sipping something? I
It's
mean, I've been sipping something, so I'm fine to be
Yeah,
open about it.
I've got some sippies here. A little bit of ginger beer.
Oh, lovely.
I'm trying out all the ginger beers.
Well, that's cool. So let's dive in. Where were we at last week? We were doing the Hero's journey,
Yeah, we
right?
were
So this
doing
was
journey mapping. We make a journey where you walk through the things, the
that's
steps. Yeah,
the steps.
you map the journey.
This is actually a really important part of UX is actually breaking down what the user is going to do, along a linear timeline and trying to figure out how you're going to get there. So that's cool. We did a whole episode on it. I got a whole new thing. I
You
got a
mentioned
whole new
affinity
thing.
maps, Nick.
Are we in? Oh, we're in Fig Jam. Can
We're
we
in
get in Figma proper?
Fig Jam.
Maybe.
We can go in Figma. Which Figma?
Whatever our last sort of active file was.
We've reached our free page limit. Okay, let me figure out this. We want to
Can we
start a
jump
new
into
one?
episode 1 or 7?
Let's go in. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, that works. All right, we're in here. All right, I've
Hey,
kind of hit a
everybody.
problem this week. I got to deal with. I have to catalog many discrete items, pieces of
Cataloging
content.
discrete items. Okay, tell me more.
So let's, for the purposes of discussion, say like links to significant pieces of content, like videos.
Okay.
So say you have over 100 videos and we need to help users scrub through all that content. That's sort of my hypothetical here.
Do they scrub through a video or find a video in the
Sorry,
100?
scrub. Well, scrub is probably kind of an unfortunate way to say that, but like you have over 100 discrete videos. They're important for the user, and we need to help them, I guess, navigate them,
Gotcha.
search through them, not necessarily filter them. But just how do you handle that on a page design? Because it's easy when you have 30 things and you can build a grid system on a website that sort of handles that.
Just joining you here. Whoop. Ah, hello. Look, it's Figma. We can all play on the same screen.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
I'm just starting to build a wireframe
Okay,
here.
video. Okay, this is an interesting one. So there's a lot of videos. What are they? Why do they have to try to? Are they? Do they need to? Are they looking
I
for
know.
a specific video in the 100?
I love throwing out really generalized problems on this show because I mean obviously because of our background, instantly it's like, well, hold on, tell me more about it.
Yeah, hone right in on that.
No, fuck off. Make a website. We paid the bills.
Yeah,
You
just build
signed the
it. You do
quote. Okay.
I always, because I always go to the job to be done. What's the what's why does the person want to watch videos?
The content is inherently interesting to them. So let's call
Okay.
it entertainment content.
All right. Some entertaining content.
So, and I mean, I guess we're jumping right in and we're talking about a website. So let's like define what a video is. And I think we could probably look at it in terms of like not a post type, but like as a piece of content.
Mm-hmm.
So these videos would have, of course, a video. I love that triangle tool. I know it's called polygon tool, but just like banging out those triangles.
Polygon. Oh,
Okay, so a video is obviously a video, but I would think because we're talking about maybe like CMS-driven web design, like with a content management system, a video as a piece of content would also have a title. So like video title line. Cool
video, brah.
piece of content video.
The best content.
We the best music is what I always say. Okay, so a video is obviously a video. It's also a title. I guess you would have a description.
Okay.
We have to assume that these are being like self-hosted to some degree. We're not talking about YouTube here. Let's like get that out. A video.
Not YouTube.
You
know what? In the design brief that I use, we have a section called goals and non-goals.
Okay. So what's like a non-goal? Like don't mess
YouTube.
This up. Not
yeah,
YouTube.
don't fuck up, guys. Come on. It's just sometimes like we can anticipate someone saying like, "Oh, should we do this too?" And then we want to shut that down before it even happens. It's like, we're not doing this. We've already thought about it, and here's what we're not doing.
That's not a bad idea. Get there first.
Yeah,
I mean, in the realm of kill it quickly.
Yeah, I stole it from somewhere, but it's just like, it's more about like knowing who our audience is and like thinking about the developers and being like, oh, I bet they're gonna ask this. So I say no, non-goal, and it's just something to, I just threw it out there, and watch people struggle to try and fill that section out.
That's why you got to get those wily developers in the room early.
Absolutely.
It's like, please help me shoot down my idea. Let's not do this in 3 weeks.
Yeah, tell me why this is
when
bad.
I push this through approval and everyone's really, the client's really excited about it, and then I show up and go, hey, surprise, you need to make this, and they just can't.
Yeah, tell me why this is impossible, and then actually make something that's better and really show me up in front of everybody.
All right, so I'm into adjusting the letting here, which means I probably need to stop what I'm doing. This is fancy enough. Okay, so
this is why we use FigJam. No,
this is why we use FigJam. We couldn't make this in FigJam.
No.
FigJam sucks. I take that back. I actually really love it.
We're about to see. We're throwing it at like a bunch of people that generally don't like try out new software, I think, on a regular basis. I don't want to say like non-technical people, but because they're not non-technical, but they're not like us, where we're just like, always updating our software.
Yeah, like they're people that work in the tech industry, but they don't. Yeah, they're not into.
Like
hot
Microsoft
forward-thinking
Office
bits of
users. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like, you've been using Office for the last 20 years and that's it. So it's like, hey, FigJam, can you like, I can't see how people will not be able to use it, but.
Well, that's going back to those social features, right? Like it just, people have fun and that makes it an easier, more sort of collaborative experience. I find a lot of times if you're trying to get people in to talk about design, they feel like they need to talk that design language.
Yeah, or they won't say anything because they're not designers, but it's like, hey, you can use design tools like I do.
Well, they can't. That's why they made FigJam. We have to protect our craft.
It's like, no, you can't. You have to pay me, and it's expensive. Design is hard. It takes a long time, and
design is hard, and nobody can do it. That is the point of the show. Design is hard. Nobody can do it, and our contracts need to remain as lucrative as possible. Okay, I get a piece of content here. So I guess when we talk about a video, like we look at it like a post type. So a video is a video, it's a title, it's a description. Maybe it has a date.
Maybe.
As one more piece of an example of meta content.
Do these videos, is there a finite amount or do they get added to? You said it's not YouTube, but is it something where like videos will appear over time, like new videos get added by someone, or is it just like here's like a course with
that's why I'm putting the date in, because I think that it's a matter of newest.
Okay, so you kind of gave away your answer there, yeah, by putting the date, or you answered my question.
I telegraphed it, yeah,
by date.
So dates make it feel alive, right? I mean, that's an instant indication to users that this is fresh content. They're interested in updating it regularly. So users love them dates. Also for sorting, I think later it'll make sense to have at least one piece of meta content. So meta content on a dynamic website like this would be content that you don't write, like a date or an author name or a tag or categories, that sort of thing. So for the purposes of this, I think it'll be good. I guess that's all we need for our videos. Now, I think the issue that this particular website is going to face is that there's a lot of them, say 150 of them.
Okay. Are there different categories or tags?
No.
All right.
Not to get too specific, and that would be a first go-to, right? When you're sort of designing something that needs to house this much content. Like think of like a shopping cart or a shopping website where you've got all these bits that you can sort by, right? Price, shipping date, that sort of stuff. We don't have this here. We just have cool content that people want to see.
Okay, that's fair.
Right? It's a little bit of a challenge. There's some other implications there, like weight on the browser and stuff that I think we need to look at, but We'll get there. So I think like the very first place a designer's mind goes is a grid, appropriately so, with a bunch of videos on it.
That's where my brain's going. YouTube already did it.
Yeah, I know what you mean, right? You want to rely on services like that when you can. However, we cannot. Is 150 entries like this useful?
I'm just wondering, yeah, how does somebody, if it's entertainment, I mean, maybe they search, but doesn't seem like it. It's hard to know.
Search would probably be pretty relevant, I would think. So maybe we can add meta categories to this. It's a little hard to talk about without like revealing anything. I feel like we're playing like web design Guess Who, or web design and NDA Guess Who.
Yeah. So it's entertainment.
So now what? Like, do we paginate? Is it a lazy load, perhaps? How do you handle... I mean, so say we had 4 per row, which is like pretty reasonable for a grid system. This represents 12 videos. There's not really a reality where we can stack, you know, dozens of these on top of each other and have them load while the user's browsing it.
Who puts the videos here?
Like
the site
people
owners
who administer the website. Yeah. Assume that they're people who are really well trained in getting this stuff online.
Do you know how regularly they'll do it?
Jesus. I don't know. Yeah, 3 times a month.
Okay.
So their videos, I mean, there's some things we can surmise about that. Like their videos have types. So maybe categories are a good thing when we go back to this. If we go back and look at this post type,
I'm just
maybe
I'm trying to think of the information, like what's somebody going to use to make a decision about what to watch. My first thought goes to thumbnail and title, but then there's description. That's probably not shown here though.
Maybe not in this view, because I would assume, I mean, they say you can't judge a book by its cover, except you totally friggin' can. And
you
does,
absolutely
and that's how
can.
they pick a book. That's how you pick a book.
That's everyone judges everything by the cover.
I'm judging everything by everything right now. The cover is like the most accessible part of that.
I mean, it's totally fine. It's like I'll open the book and read it too, but I'm of course going to judge it by its cover at first.
That's why you That's why you hire a cover designer.
Yeah, it's like otherwise the cover wouldn't matter. Come on. That looks like a good book. You wouldn't. How are you supposed to say a book? What else are you using? If you say a book looks good, it means it's got a nice cover, right? That looks like a good book. You didn't say it.
But then it's a bad book. But then it's a bad book.
Yeah, it's bad.
Lessons were learned. Read any good books lately?
I haven't read a physical book in a very long time.
I can't.
No.
I was gonna get really into reading, and then I started working on the internet. I read all the time. That's all I do.
I can't read. For like 10 years since I've read a book.
Cool piece of content video. Okay. So maybe a way to do this is to feature a piece of content. So the coolest piece of content or the most relevant, like, hey, we did a thing in this pile of videos. Maybe it's the newest video.
If this website was, let's say it's a year, you launch the website and it's a year in the future, and your client is like, this is the best, most successful website I've ever seen,
Yes.
what would have happened? What success look like? What would make people say something like that?
Tens of millions of users visited. It goes totally viral. It's like old people get
Okay.
into it, like Animal Crossing, you know.
So they want this content to be, they want views.
They want views. It's very good content that needs to be disseminated. People will almost certainly be a fan of it.
They want view, and it's not like a behind a paywall.
Uh, like a monthly sort of OnlyFans thing, maybe. No, not at all. No, it's content that wants to be seen.
It wants to be free.
I know, and again, I know these are really vague answers, but I almost want to keep it there in terms of solving this issue in the most basic way possible.
Okay, so that's good to know.
I just want you to do my work. This is my real work, and I'm just kind of having you help me with it.
Well, that makes me think about so I think what you're doing makes sense. Like different ways for people to dive into the content. Like the latest video, maybe there's like the most. What are some different ways to like categorize videos? Not even so much of like topical categories, but like newest, most popular. You could do like trending, where it's like maybe it's not the most views, but there's some kind of calculation like by views per time over like time. It's usually how they
Have
work.
you ever worked on a filter like that before, custom?
No.
How like the most views and stuff like that, like how those work is actually pretty interesting.
Like how it counts a view?
Like how it counts a view, like how it counts a view specifically is like a deep decision that you have to make as you're dealing with it. I've never done one that integrates with like Google Analytics API to get like deep insights, to create like algorithmic results. But yeah, at a certain point, like websites have to count users and store that in a file somewhere, right? There's a number that gets written.
Yeah, that is interesting because we were looking it up for YouTube of like what is a view. And
I
it's
don't
like,
think they want anyone to know.
yeah, it's a little bit secret, but they're trying to, yeah, it's a combination of like the amount of the video. It's something to do with watching a certain amount of a video, but they also
A
use
certain
other
amount of
tricks
video
to,
they probably like look at how a lot of people view a video. And a view is like perhaps they know what the interesting part of a video is, and if you've watched it or where you came from.
So yeah, if we want views,
I know the secrets. This is what I'm saying. I know the secrets of YouTube's algorithm. It's fine. That's why we're here.
That's why, yeah. Okay, good. We're gonna need that.
It's like a superpower. Okay, so we have a featured content type. That's going to let the, I guess, client. We'll call them the client on this show. That's going to let the client, I guess, update what they think is cool or newest.
Or like, yeah, it could be like manually featured even. Like here is the video. There's lots of different things. I mean, I think that's interesting. I was just gonna add like, some of these have like kind of like copying our own YouTube channel, not to be a YouTube copier, but
no, but that makes sense, right? Like YouTube's already done it. And a lot of times what I would suggest for clients is we'll just use YouTube. Like if you're working on a project that's handling a ton of video, YouTube might be a good option for them.
it's a big website.
Content on YouTube, you're tapping into the YouTube social network. And so your content can have a different life off of your website, off of your product, off of your whatever.
Oh, like with embedding, you mean?
Well,
yeah, just
embedding or whatever, like rather than using a custom video player,
right.
Why not tap into YouTube and then your content can have a different life on that platform? Making a search box. Search box is, again, like a first impulse is to say, well, just let users search, but if they haven't seen the content before, then what are they searching for?
Yeah, that's just it. It's especially with entertainment.
So maybe it's more about filters.
Wonder what we can filter by.
Well, so I'll jump back to this post type over here, and maybe it's a category. So if they're videos, let's say entertainment, there's some categories, right? Like comedy, action, drama, comedy, action, drama. What else is there? Oh God,
Sci-fi?
there's
Is that
probably people like banging their heads against the monitor. Yeah, sci-fi's a
I don't know.
genre.
Who
Okay, I
cares?
guess we're talking genres now. Okay,
Doesn't have
category
to be.
filter genre: comedy, action, drama, sci-fi. Um, holy shit! Help me out.
Documentary,
Documentary.
biopic. I still don't know how to say that. That's like a docu
So
series.
I
What are
really
all
did.
these new
I think I
words?
was like 25 when I figured out that biopic wasn't a word, that it's a biopic, and that people had morphed it sort of
Biopic.
cruelishly over time. Okay, so we have a genre filter.
What's that thing?
So we would want to include that as meta information in here in the post type. Are you making a drop shadow?
No, I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah, so the more info, the better. The more metadata, we don't have to use it.
Exactly. So let's call that one. Once we get into genre filters, I start thinking about Netflix's like extensive genres. Like, so you have a bit of a dynamic information that you tag a show with, right? It's a comedy, it's a sci-fi, it's a whatever. What Netflix does that's really neat is assigns many of those at different sort of sentiment levels to a TV show. So you could have like a dark comedy with strong female lead, which is really cool, right? Like it just seems like it's a bunch of words that it's spitting out, but the fact that it's assembled those and can also identify like with a blah 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 is very kind of cool.
And it's almost like there's an infinite amount of them. Like you just keep scrolling and they just keep making them for you.
Well, so this was the big first like push I could tell on the Netflix UI. Like even when we were first getting Netflix, the fact that they were doing this sort of genre categorization was really cool because all of a sudden content was really discoverable. Like I really happen to like dark comedies with strong female leads, and holy shit, it's giving me a wall of content. But then they came right in the last year or so with that like just play something shuffle button.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like it's an admission of like, look, our recommendations engine is too much, and to the point that maybe people don't pay attention to it anymore. They just go to comedy. They just want to see stuff that we recommend, not necessarily like we're going to surface it at a high level.
Yeah, I wonder if people just like don't care. It's like just put something on. I'm locked inside of my apartment and
we'll judge a book by its cover. Just put a bunch of thumbnails on the screen and I'll judge it. And I'll go, Will Arnett's in this. Is it good? And then you'll be like, nah, man, it's really disappointing. Okay. So now we have some categories to go by. So perhaps genre. What about length? That's probably not relevant in entertainment. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody's like, this looks really entertaining, but it's 6 minutes. I can't do it. I only got 5.
It's a good thing to show on the videos before you play them. It's a good piece of... I don't know. Yeah, it might not be something you filter by. But you never know.
But it's yawning? Good. Did you just yawn?
Maybe.
That's like a cardinal sin in broadcasting.
Shit.
Don't yawn. Don't say ah or and if you screw up, just talk past it like nothing happened.
Okay. That I can do. Go ahead. Call me out.
Oh my god, I'm like fucking yawning on this show. We have a genre filter. Let's call that something else. I hate genre. I don't know. Vibes. What's my vibe?
What if it was more like
Like
what are some
tone. You know what I mean? Like, let's get away from genre. Let's get more into like blue orange gradient. You know?
okay.
What if you picked media by color? You gave it a hex value. Like you picked something off a color chart. And it was like, watch these today.
Color
That's
mood?
bullshit. I'm sorry. Just totally for yeah, color like
I
a
mean,
color mood
we
thing.
should we need at least one experimental feature.
Color, but you give it a photograph and it picks the dominant color out of that. Or maybe you turn on your webcam and it looks at your face and sort of like develops a color palette out of that.
That could be, yeah, take a selfie and then it'll figure out what you want.
Take a mood
Imagine.
selfie. Take an entertainment mood selfie. Oh.
What if you did like, you know what I'm saying?
Like just big buttons? Just
Yeah.
big, great big buttons.
Almost like they're, I mean, I see it as kind of, I don't know if you'd call it filters or navigation. Probably matters to someone, but not to me right now.
What if, I'm just going to grab a copy of your component here. What if, so going back to the post types, thinking like we're designing in a CMS, this video is a video, it's a title, it's a description, etc. It's a thumbnail too, right? We have like that thumbnail available to us.
Okay.
So if we made these boxes, I don't know, maybe 4x3 or skinny or something.
Okay. Yeah.
We could use the thumbnail information again from that most popular video to be the background for that thumbnail.
I like it. That's brilliant. That would look good too.
And so I'm actually directly ripping this off of Netflix, I think, to a degree. They do something like that. Their straps are wild.
They're all the same. Have you used you use Disney Plus, right?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't in a long time, but I have. I was really excited when it came out because I thought, oh fuck, here's this multi-billion-dollar company that's going to redesign Netflix, and they had all the time and all the money in the world to perfect it. Let's see what they roll out with. And I don't know. It's a real normal product, I guess.
I think the UI is better than Netflix in certain ways. I think it's, and I was kind of surprised that they did kind of come out. I mean, they did have a lot of time, but they didn't put as much time as Netflix into it. And they just kind of like, I feel like they started in number one. And I kind of, before that, I kind of used to think like, when I just used Netflix, I used to think like, you know, this is good, but how hard is it to make this interface? Like it's some pictures and you click what you want to watch. But
Yeah.
have you ever used Amazon Prime Video?
Yeah, it's a piece of junk.
It's
like
unbelievable.
It's actually like a bad design. I think we can say it without being like too objective or whatever, or being completely objective. I think we can say that's a bad design.
It is. It's objectively a very badly done product.
They've got different use cases and it's tough. Like Netflix has a lot of new content and they seem to really want to focus on that. Like, hey, we have a new thing. It's this new thing of the week. Jump on board and watch it. Disney Plus is like, we house content that you're familiar with. Like all of the Fox stuff. They have all of the Simpsons and all of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And like these shows that are on I think so, because it's an FX show and Disney own that. But yeah, that's half the early seasons of that show are worth such a rewatch. But so they've got a different use case. Like I could see Amazon Prime being more applicable in that case because it's not about surfacing new content in fun, strange ways. We just need to catalog this shit so that people can find it when they want.
And I guess it's like I'm probably, I haven't done any research on this, but and I don't know, but I would think that to me, Amazon Prime just comes with is a thing you get with Amazon Prime. Like I don't usually, I actually, you know what I mean? Like, do people use? Like,
I
do you
don't.
go to do you get do you sign up for Amazon Prime for the TV, or is it just a thing that comes with Amazon Prime, which I don't have anyway?
It's a thing that's come with Amazon Prime. I mean, it all depends on what they have. Amazon has The Boys,
Right.
which is a great show, and I was really into. Of course. Um, so I was going there for that. I mean, I can't say I pick a streaming service based on the UI. It's more like what shows do I want to watch, and we'll sign up for it for a month. You
Yeah.
know, so like grab a month of Disney Plus, go through all the things that we wanted to see. If there's more, just keep going. If there's not, then we move on. And Netflix is constant.
Yeah, interesting. I've heard of other people doing that too. But yeah, Netflix is a constant one for me.
Whether I use it or not, I just always have Netflix.
My parents
I
have,
would
yeah, I share it with my parents, and it's like it's worth it
my
just to have for them.
my parents have just gotten to the point where they're like, I think we could cut cable if we wanted to, and it's like, yeah, it's
Yeah, you
two
could
thousand nine all over again. Yeah, you totally can.
cut cable just as like there's a ton of streaming services that you eventually have to sign up for anyway. It's going to cost the same amount.
I mean, when you're looking at, I'm sure, I feel like this conversation is happening in 2009, but for what you pay for your satellite TV and your TiVo or whatever, you can subscribe to, I don't know, 5, 6, 8, 9 streaming services.
Yeah, that stuff's expensive. It's still expensive. Bell called me to try and upsell me on
I know.
uh,
I
some stuff. And I was like, how much does it cost? And he's like, well, I'm like, I'm good. If you can't even tell me the price, then I'm gonna have to be out.
we also live in Canada where some of the highest telecom prices in the world are.
Yes, yeah, we
I
have
hear it's cheaper to get a cell phone in Cambodia than it is in Canada.
yeah, pretty much everywhere in the world. We have in Canada we have what's called an oligopoly with our telecom companies. It's kind of like a monopoly, but where a monopoly is one, an oligopoly is like a few, so they still can get together to control the prices. And so when you only have three companies, they just say, hey, look, instead of trying to compete with each other, why don't we just keep the prices really high, and we'll all offer the exact same product, except it'll be whatever logo color you like the best, green, blue, or red.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
they,
we
yeah,
pay
so they agree on the
extremely
prices,
high cell
and
phone prices
yeah, very high.
across the board from every company.
It's technically illegal, but the companies like
Not
that
in
are
Canada,
above the law.
baby. We all apologize to each other. They're like, "Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. That'll be $95 for your
Yeah, sorry.
gigs."
Oops. Yeah, it's $200 per
Who even
phone.
knows, man? I hear Canada's a real mess. Did you hear the Joe Rogan nonsense of the week this week?
Yeah, we're fucked. I don't know
I hear
why
we're
we're
fucked.
going into these
I heard
lockdowns.
that there's Gestapos like kicking people's doors in and
Yeah,
holding
yeah.
them down and spitting in their mouths, which is, as a
Yeah,
Canadian, I can say yes,
it's crazy.
100% that is happening here.
All these weaklings are taking vaccines and wearing masks because they're weak.
Yeah, bro.
They don't eat right, and they don't take enough vitamin D. So
That's exactly it. That's
Dr.
exactly
Dr.
it.
Joe Rogan, I'm trying to figure out, it's like, is he off his alpha brain, or is this the result of too much alpha brain? Because he's
Yeah,
not thinking perfectly straight.
the cordyceps mushrooms that they grind up in the alpha brain with the gasoline and the other things are finally taking hold.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I don't know.
formaldehyde
That's a
is
bummer.
killing parts of his brain. I
I can't
can't believe he
imagine.
won't take a vaccine
I
But
hate that we're talking about Joe Rogan on our web design show, but it's infuriating.
it's topical.
It's very topical. It's
YouTube is
today.
gonna put us like at the top of the charts for this one.
At the algo, they're like, check out these two web design boys. They got hot takes on Rogan, and then
Joe
Rogan wants to
Rogan and
schedule an
Tucker
MMA
Carlson.
fight.
He's
Yes,
yeah. He would almost be funny
he's a
if he
real
wasn't so
card.
destructive.
No, I recall Tucker Carlson being on CNN as like this like kind of weirdo in a bow tie, and now he's like a cult leader. That's how it goes. You show up on the scene with a little bow tie, and you're good. Comedy, documentary, true crime.
Oh, true crime. That's hot.
Sci-fi. I love a good true crime. I love a good murder show at 10 p.m. before I go to bed, so I can lay in bed and think about it.
Yeah, solve the mystery while you sleep. That's what I always
Right?
say. Plant the seed.
Well, you start with true crime. It starts with true crime, and you end up in a Facebook group solving true crime. I think is how the arc goes on that addiction.
Have you had any COVID dreams? I've been having dreams about COVID that are mixing like the current state with like the past. Like my dream,
Cool.
like I'll go into a restaurant, and then it'll be full of people, and I'll be with my friends, and then it's like, I'll be like, wait a second, it's a pandemic. We're not supposed to be here. And I'll be like, hey guys, like, this place isn't even supposed to be open, and people are like, what are you talking about? So it's like the people in my dream are like from the past when there was no pandemic, but like I'm in a pandemic world, and I'm like, why am I going crazy? Why doesn't it? There's a pandemic. Why does it? So yeah.
So wait, did you have a dream that you went to a restaurant?
I had a dream I went to a restaurant and it was full, and I'm like, wait a second, this isn't right.
That's an awesome dream. I was on a really hard deadline last week, and I had a huge presentation, biggest presentation ever. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was having dreams that I was getting like upsetting Slack messages about the project.
Oh God.
Oh, I wake up at like 4 a.m. Deadlines are so cool. I hope we have designers that listen to the show, because living in a deadline world is kind of a mess. All right, that brings us to our halfway mark. Ian, let's get a pause on this. We'll come back for one more hour and keep working on our video categorization feature that you're helping me build here.
Sounds like an excellent plan, Nick. All right, back in a few. Ooh, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. How's it
All right, are
going?
we back? Are we live?
We're back, Nick.
Are
What's up?
back.
What are you up to?
What am I up to?
What are
We're
we thinking
talking
about now?
content categorization here
We're making
based on a CMS.
a video
The good
entertainment
things, the
site?
finer things in life. We're talking about. Yeah, we're working on a problem here. We have, I guess, we're sort of talking about Netflix, aren't we? Is we have
Yeah.
hundreds of different types of discrete entertainment
Literally
content. We want to
hundreds.
categorize them in a way that's nice.
And
I don't know.
we want views, we want people engaging in this,
I
talking
think it's
about it.
exposure. Like, yeah, engagement would be good. So we should talk about that. There's a social component to this because these are a piece of content that could be
I mean,
shared.
I guess, yeah, we want it to be engaging and stuff that people want to share. We want people to like be able to, I guess, find something they like, or have something they like find them, maybe is the right way to say it.
Oh, see,
Um,
that's the one you pull out in the meeting, right? And you
yeah,
wink at
that's
them, and they're like, they all clap. They get up and they clap, and they're like, "What a pitch!"
you collect 10 of those and a stamp card and you get a raise. I'm on 8.
The client laughed.
Trust me. No, you laugh, but it's gonna pay for a new. I don't know what do I want?
Pay for a
What
new
do,
one.
what do adults
You just
buy?
bought a house.
Pans?
Hey, yeah. Well, I mean, for the viewers, Ian just bought a house. He's never buying anything ever again,
Yeah, that's it.
except for dumb things like a hose or.
He had nails, like nails and extension cords, I guess.
I bought nails recently. I was the mid-30s guy standing in Home Depot going, well, like I don't need 3-inch nails. I just need 2 1/4
Man, there's
inch.
so many different kinds of nails and screws and anchors for those screws. And I was concrete drill, like, oh man, nails.
So thanks for tuning into our web design vlog here,
Yeah, we're
talking
just
nails
clearly
on the Hi
designing a
There Show.
website. So we're making this
Um,
video site.
we
You
are
said,
making a video site. I'm working on a bit of a single page here. So going back to the content structure, where a video, when we're talking about a video here in a CMS design, a video is actually a video. It's a thumbnail, it's a title, it's a date, it's a category, and it has a description. So I'm thinking about when you click into a video, you're going to need, I guess, a single page
yeah, to watch
in
that
WordPress
video.
parlance.
Yeah, to
watch
watch
that
that video,
video.
to share from. You mentioned, yeah. And so we're just trying to think of different ways for people to dive into these videos. And you you mentioned WordPress and just like thinking about things as like single page versus like the listing, and I think that's really interesting. Um, you mentioned CMS, and I think a lot of times you don't really think about that experience, but we talked about earlier, for those who are just tuning in, who's going to be managing a site like this, and
Yeah.
there's going to be people obviously doing that to be able having to add videos to something, but I think it's kind of interesting and really good to be thinking about both perspectives, like what kind of things will the person posting this like be doing.
You,
Just consider that.
yeah, I find, I mean, really what you end up doing is going through and going, okay, what are all the different types of content that are going to be posted to the site? Who's posting them there? How are they going to show up? Um, God, I'm trying not to jump around here too much. So where you may have a video, like we can see these videos on the front page. We have a big listing of videos. We have some genre filters and stuff like that right now. So right now you see these videos in a list, like we have a playlist or a curated list hot right now. And you see the video thumbnail and the title. There may be different versions of that card that's around the site. So right now we have a grid system set up with like 4 videos and a title in a row, but there might be a situation where we need bigger cards like this kind of thing.
Okay.
And you need to plan for that. So I guess a good example of that would be this featured piece up here, right? Like this, I guess you can't see my selections. This cool piece of content video. Can you?
Yeah. They're pink and everything. Beautiful.
So
Fuchsia.
that's great because on my screen they're blue. So this big piece of content up here That is the same as one of these pieces of content down here, except that in this view, we're showing the date and the description like in a different styling. It's bigger or whatever, but essentially at the end of the day, is the same thing that was uploaded there.
Right. Just
Is
same
that making
same
sense?
content, just displayed differently.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, we can show more info because we have more space. But it still exists for these other ones. It's just hidden. Metadata in the background.
Metadata in the background. That's a really cool and interesting way to describe that. So I think I got there. I think that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy when you're talking to other web people. You're like, content post types, and they're all like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
totally
I got
get
it
it.
immediately. I think it was good.
That's good. Thank you. Carry that with me. Okay, so I have a single page there. Maybe we should just jump back to the mechanism of actually people finding this.
All this fun stuff.
Yeah, we have our genre row up here. I feel like that should maybe almost lead. I've got functional elements like drop downs and stuff here that
Yeah, that almost seems
from
like it might be.
from a presentation standpoint, we want users to engage with whatever recommendation engine we've come up with.
Yeah, I'm a big filter guy myself, but I for something like this, I might almost consider like hiding these in like somewhere.
Like an accordion, like a drop down.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think I would change anything right now, but
Okay,
you
no,
know what I mean? Like
I get it. Yeah. I'm gonna put them on the right because for whatever reason I feel like filters need to be right aligned.
that feels good too, yeah.
Does it
Heartwarming.
feel good? How much time do you spend a day dragging things around trying to decide if they feel good or not? An hour?
Yeah.
Straight time. Straight time spent clicking and dragging.
Cumulative, if we added it up, it could be an hour, yeah. Dragging and resizing.
I mean, even we're working on a wireframe right now, which is not supposed to be devoid of style, but I don't think it possibly can be at all.
You
Especially
gotta,
if you're handling the design, like you gotta think of those things.
it never
Um,
hurts. You
never
gotta have
hurts.
boundaries, I think, with yourself. You stick
I've
to the
been
plot.
I've been accused of over designing my wireframes, and that's actually what I'm doing right now. Is just way over designing the shit out of this thing. But come on,
Oh,
how am I can't hand a client. You can't put all this concerted effort into everything and hand a client a 50-page document that looks like shit, right?
yeah,
You gotta do
not
something in there to make it okay.
and yeah, I don't think this is over designed. My main problem with over designing is I waste time doing it, but isn't that much time, and you want it to look.
I
Looks
want it to look
matter,
good.
right?
More than a
Oh,
few times I've had a client say like, "This is really great. Like, are we gonna add color to it?"
yeah, yeah. I've heard that once before too.
And do you know what I say to them, Ian? I look them
No,
right in the eye and I go, fucking no. Do you want to be a thought leader in this industry? No. No,
what?
there's no color.
No way.
No way.
Yeah,
Color.
I had somebody ask if I liked so much gray. I think that was good.
I had actually someone once say, I really like all the gray. Like, I find this easy to read, and
Oh
this is
shit.
like what apps need to be. That person was a developer, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
I'm not laughing at developers. I love them. There's always going to
Developers.
be this push and pull
Developers.
between designers and developers that is like a beautiful dance. And I support that. But yeah, I was told one time that my wireframes were a good color. I'm just putting X's in there to denote there will be something. So I think a good strategy for these things, I think we were talking about it before, was what if we use the thumbnail for the top level video for each one of these categories? So the background image of comedy would be the thumbnail for the highest rated comedy video. Highest rated is wrong. Maybe most visited because we don't have a rating system
Right.
right now.
Yeah, most visited, whatever rule that is. I think most visited or most viewed of the category seems sensible to me. That's a really good rule, and it's again like it's. I think it's. I think it's pretty good that we're thinking about how that will work instead of just saying cool picture. Like that's actually like functional and a sustainable like kind of probably wouldn't call it a content strategy, but it's like part of the content strategy, and it answers a question of like, where does this come from? Where a lot of the times
Yeah.
you'll do a, and hey, you do concepts and whatnot. You do a cool design and it's like, okay, how does this work? Where is this coming from? Who's going to do that? And now we have answers to that. It's going
Y-
to come from here, and no one's going to do it because it's pulling automatically. So that's kind of
I
dope.
it's a personal opinion, but I think that stuff absolutely. I mean, everyone's gonna say this, but you got to break that functionality down. You got to describe that in a UX document somewhere. Like you have to know like where are these thumbnails coming from? How do they get there? Um, and I find in an agile environment where you can work with developers directly, you're getting into like these things are all noted on tickets and they're tracked throughout the life of the project and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, someone's going to come asking for one. It's if you don't figure that out.
What time is it? Quarter after 10. I think that brings us to news. Isn't that stinger so cool?
Amazing.
That's our news segment. Let's talk about the headlines in and around the world of design and
Yeah,
UX.
what's up on the internet
What's up on the
recently,
internet
Nick?
today? What up, Nick? The Verge is reporting. This is maybe old. Everyone's probably heard this at this point because this broke through to the mainstream. Basecamp CEO apologizes to staff in new post. We have a lot to learn. The software company has been under fire for how it handled employees' concerns about culture. What a story, man. That must have been such an awful startup Monday morning.
Ooh. Yeah,
Uh,
how did that
have
get
you
going?
heard the whole rundown? So,
No.
Jason Fried, the CEO of Basecamp. Basecamp is a project management software that's been around for a very long time. Ian and I actually used to run a small web company that utilized Basecamp. Jason Fried, very big company, very big software as a service company, came in Monday morning and apparently told his teams that he wanted no more social or political no more societal or political banter on the company's internal forums. Now, the article on The Verge lists internal forums. I'm assuming that means Slack. Like, they probably
Okay,
don't have like a PHP nuke bulletin board,
I get it.
you know, at there. So he was telling everyone no more societal or political chat internally, and a third of the company quit, including like longtime designers and engineers and people who founded the place.
I did see
Um,
that. So yeah, some people were pretty upset about it.
I'm pretty upset. Yeah, I mean, a third of their company quitting is kind of nuts. I can't imagine a worse Monday morning. I feel like there was probably some infighting. You
Yeah,
know what I
there's
mean?
definitely
He
something
noticed
going.
there was some shit going on in Slack, and there was like a Trumper in the company or something, and they were arguing about it. And he saw this as a catch-all solution and ended up alienating the company. I mean, you're I'm in a bit I'm in a bit of a larger shop, so that kind of thing would be harder to track. But like, how do you deal with that with your team? If you're really concerned about the sort of the lifeblood of your team, um, what do you say to that? I guess it's terrible. I guess it's wall to wall fucking terrible. I mean, I can almost sort of get it. It's like, look, we want to focus on work, but like at the same time, can you imagine your employer telling you you can't talk about a certain thing?
Yeah, no, I can't imagine that working well.
Mm-mm.
I I feel I would almost want to hear his response to it because he was probably just, you know, I think it's more of an ignorant thing to do than like a malicious thing, maybe. Like he probably thought he
He
was doing a good thing by like, all right, everybody, let's like calm everyone down. But I almost would have, and I'm not a manager, but I almost would have said like, and I like these are times like turbulent times, of course, where these things like we haven't gotten any in it. We've talked about stuff at work, but I think we're kind of all on the same page at least. So
mm-hmm.
uh maybe there's not a big of an so maybe that's part of it. But I guess what I'm saying is like I almost would have said like maybe it's instead of banning the speech, it's like no, let's actually stop everything and talk about Like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? Like, let's have a discussion, not
That
shut up.
yeah,
That's
that might have been a
probably what
better
I would have
approach. Not no more. Not no
Yeah.
more.
Like, to an extent, I guess you would have to, that's a hard line to cross. Like, obviously, you need to get some work done, probably, but, you know, as long as you can have a conversation in good faith with everyone, I think, like, which I would hope you'd be able to at like a professional company, but, I'm probably ignorant about that fact too. Unless people are like straight up denying facts or something, then, if they're like,
It would be sort of a, I would think from an HR perspective, you would want to be thinking about, well, how did this conversation come about? What's like the context of, like, what's the context of it? I guess what I'm saying is like handle it at an employee level, rather than banning your entire company from saying certain things on Slack, which would probably piss people off. They did offer like compensation packages, or like, we'll buy you out. Like, if you have such a huge problem with this, we don't want you at the company, and we'll give you X dollars to get going. And a lot of people took it.
yeah, I did see something about buyouts, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
In a world where UX is a popular biz right now, and everybody's looking for a strong lead senior UX person, I might take that buyout.
Especially if I didn't want to work there anymore. What kind of jobs were they? Do they have a team of developers too, or was it like,
No, huge team of I think it's engineering first. Like, they were an engineering first company and then sort of built up over time. But some of the people that were
right?
quitting on Twitter were like, I've worked here for 10 years and I'm out. I
Wow.
guess. I don't know. Have you used Basecamp in the last 5 years?
I haven't and used it in a while now, but I've recommended it to people when they've
It's pretty good.
said they needed something like that Basecamp does. I was like, you should
Back
use this.
back in like the 2010s, even like 2010 on the nose, Basecamp was okay. Well, rather than having all these conversations via email, we're going to post them to this board and then everybody on the team can see it.
Yeah,
Which at the time was very forward thinking, by the
it
way.
it, it really it considering the fact that like you can't even, it's hard to like get people to do that today. Um, yeah, getting out of email was a great thing, and
Email's
not like managing your
brutal.
projects with email.
Email's gone from a primary form of communication in the last like 5 or 6 years to like this extra thing that I need to deal with. That's a pain in the ass. I mean, we even have clients in Jira now, so we're sort of, between Jira and
Really?
Slack, you have sort of, yeah, totally. You can like connect with other orgs
Okay.
via those services. So you sort of already have this like deep connection with them. Like, email almost never comes up. Never.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
That's
Yeah, I
what I
just
like to hear. From CNET, use Zoom's new immersive view setting to pretend you're back in the office. Here's how. Have you seen this absolute fucking horror show of
uh
a
do you have a
feature?
screenshot? Drop it in
I do
the
have a screenshot. I'm going to drop it right in the file
I opened
here,
this
I think.
stupid Fig Jam thing up and just started drawing.
So, what this purports to do. Sorry, I just control Z-ed that text file. Can you see this on screen?
Kinda. Yeah, it's hiding, but we'll get there. Oh, hello.
So Zoom's new feature is going to crop people dynamically and put them in like sort of this like future meeting room, this like
Okay.
Manhattan meeting room kind of thing. And
Whoa.
so instead of just talking to people awkwardly on Zoom, you can now awkwardly talk to this fucking death cabal of people who are judging your very
I was
existence.
gonna say, yeah, they are really, really judging me. I
They're
feel like I'm in front of a panel, like to decide like the type of death penalty I receive.
Can you
Like not
imagine
even
for a
to
second
sentence me.
sitting through a meeting where the entire team is looking at you? I don't know.
It's yeah, it's something strange about it. It almost looks like the heads are photoshopped onto their bodies too.
I'd
I'm
like to
trying to
see it
decide
in
whether I get a
motion.
lethal injection or firing squad,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For your design ways.
but it says deliver happiness behind them on the wall, and I'm like, what? What city's in the background?
Do you know what drives me nuts when I see people like that? We're in the wrong market. We shouldn't be doing complicated things like websites. We should have just made a plaque that said "Deliver Happiness" and sold it to
Sell it on
HomeSense
Etsy.
or something.
Make it
Well,
an
on Etsy, "Deliver
NFT.
Happiness."
Sell it for $1 million.
So this is horrific and I hate it. And it's sort of like embracing this lockdown thing, as in, like, you know what? Let's just dive headfirst into the horrific cyber future instead of, being Marat. And I hate it.
Yeah, let's accelerate this terrible agenda.
Can we actually maybe do the next show with this feature?
Yeah,
We could do like a head-to-head kind of view from each computer. I thought that was terrible. Nobody should do that. Don't force your employees. I swear to God, a third of this company will quit if you implement that.
1/3.
A new immersive view. Set into pretending to be back at the office. This new Zoom feature lets you virtually sit next to your fellow video call participants in a classroom, a boardroom, or anywhere else in a virtual background. Can I put like a nuclear wasteland?
Yeah, I want us to sitting around like a camp, like a burning barrel, roasting like hot dogs.
Yeah, old
End of
hot
the
dogs
world.
that we found to live.
I could get into this.
Next story coming from Gizmodo reporting today. Actually, I was really bummed to hear about this. RIP Windows 95 icons. So longtime PC users, I think, on here are going to know about the custom Windows 95 icons. These are, of course, the icons whenever you customize an icon on your PC. Do you remember this? Did you ever have that experience where you realized you could change the icon for an app?
I do.
And it came from this huge list of probably the most vaporwave looking icons of all time. They're nixing them, and that's sad.
Custom icons. I remember making custom icons.
Do you remember system32/shell32.dll?
That sounds pretty specific.
I thought this was a big one. I'm going to pop it in here. Oh, that's the immersive view. I'll take a screenshot. Does Zoom let me know when I take a screenshot? Like, when I take a screenshot while we're on a Zoom call, does it make a dingle or something?
I don't know.
Because I'm terrified. I'm often working while I'm doing a Zoom call. I'm terrified that people are going to think I'm taking pictures of them. All right. These are the Win32 icons. They are a classic. These are the OGest of Windows 95 icons.
I do remember those. So what are they doing? They're going away?
They're going away. They're no more. You will never be able to use these again.
Shoot. This like random like RAM chip?
The RAM chip.
Or like whatever this thing
kind
is.
of desperately trying to find a lot of them. The CD over the CD reader is obviously a classic one. The disk drives, so good.
I remember this one. I never knew what it was, but it's like a network drive, I think. Something attached to a pipe.
It makes
Looks
me laugh that in 1995, like, iconography had these beautiful, like, full gradients, full illustrations. Like, these things were really, somebody sat down and made these, and now we just do one color. Icons are one color, or they're laborious to deal with. So I thought that was pretty cool. Last in news, Trump ban decision shows Facebook can't use board as a scapegoat. This is coming from CNET today. Facebook can't decide if they want to ban Trump or not. I feel too fucking psychologically exhausted to even care.
Yeah, I heard about this one too. Yeah. What is this Facebook? So it's an independent board. Is that is that something Facebook established to help them make decisions at like an arm's length or something?
I would say, I don't know if Facebook established them, but that's what it sounds like. There's an oversight board who said that Facebook's language in the decision was too vague, so that they had to go back and re-reach that decision, which is a pretty common like court proceeding.
Mm-hmm. So they have to decide if they're going to ban. Are they trying to decide if they can keep him banned, or
they're trying to decide if they can keep him banned, which they absolutely can, because it's a piece of software and somewhere in there there's a toggle that says banned, not banned, and they just leave it on forever, and that's fine.
Yeah, just like I'm the only one that knows the password, so.
Yeah. Oh, have you talked to our lead engineer, Dave? Yeah, well, Dave, he can log in. He's got a special panel and he has the disable account thing on there.
Yeah, so
Um,
you know.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you know what Facebook should do is ban itself and light
Yes.
itself on fire and go screaming into that good night, plummeting off a cliff, maybe into like, the Baltic.
Ban yourself,
Just
Facebook.
ban yourself, Facebox.
And it just kind of folds into itself and disappears like that haunted house on The Simpsons.
Yeah, like it's just ping. There's this real satisfying weighty like, but, and it's gone.
Like, oh, cool.
That's what I got for news.
People,
That's it for news in the world of UX. What else is going on? Who bought who? I don't know if any like hot startup got purchased by news. Twitter bought someone.
did they? Twitter's doing like a audio thing, like that other thing, Clubhouse, that I've never used.
That's right. Twitter buys Scroll, a subscription service that strips ads out of news articles, says Variety magazine.
What? So it's an ad blocker? What? That you pay for?
Yeah, but it's like an ad blocker that like the Times agrees to.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't wait to hear about how a service like this is destroying small news industry, but like you can give a publication you like a certain amount a month, and then you can read their articles purportedly in this app, housed in this app, without ads. Have y'all tried AdBlock? It's super free, and you only have to allow sites sometimes when they give you that message.
The browser that I use called Brave has a lot of ad blocking stuff built in. It kind of has its own something that sort of sounds like that. It's this thing called a BAT, a basic attention token. And basically what it does, I'm probably going to ruin this, but it blocks all the ads, but then it'll show its own ads instead.
Oh, that's rough.
But they're more private. So, but
yeah.
So basically, it shows me ads that are private, and then I get money from that. But then I can decide to distribute. So it's the browser that's showing me the ads. It's not the site. But then I can decide how I distribute that money to the websites I look at. So I could technically, if the sites are set up to receive tips in these, which nobody is yet. I can basically so in a way you can kind of like distribute that ad revenue the way you want to.
Spotify's looking at something similar, subscription service for podcasts.
Okay.
I mean, it seems like if you price things low enough, like users are dying. Users want to buy content, right?
Unless it's news. People don't seem to want to pay for that.
I subscribe to a local paper.
Oh, well, that's good.
The Halifax Examiner,
Really?
halifaxexaminer.ca.
I was thinking of doing that. Nice. I was thinking of doing that too, actually. I'm like, I should pay for this because they actually investigate things.
Yeah, no, I read it. I really appreciate their service. I know that this is maybe kind of a bit of a white knight thing, but I do use an ad blocker, and then on sites I want to support, I turn it off because I'm more empathetic.
That's fair.
But I want to decide. I don't want to get ads on bestbuy.ca when I'm trying to buy a $90 coffee maker.
Yeah, I don't want ads on places where I'm spending my money. Like, what? That's what kind of bothers me about Prime TV too. It's like it just shows me ads. I'm like,
I set up my parents' smart TV. Like I was just talking about this. Like my parents are cutting cable and they're finally getting into it. But I bought them a smart TV and it shows ads. It shows ads.
Mine
when you go like
too.
I want to use a different app. It shows me an ad. That's incredible.
I bought a $1,000 television, and it's subsidizing itself with ads. That's like, you've got to be kidding me.
So is there a future where you get a free TV? It's not called a TV. It's called Screen. And you get it, and
You
from
subscribe.
a telecom company.
Yeah.
You subscribe, and it's like $8.99 a month, and it augments the rest of it with ads, but you get, every bit of entertainment on the planet.
I think that's it. And based on like your socioeconomic status is what size TV you get and resolution. So it's like basically like if you can afford the 4K or the 8 or 16K at that time, then that's what you can get.
People are already starting to talk about 8K TVs, and I cannot imagine.
That's a lot of Ks. I was
That's a
like,
lot of Ks,
I
and
was like,
you know,
why do you need so many Ks? And someone
why do you
said
need so many Ks?
one uh, one benefit of that many Ks is if you make video, you can crop it down, and it'll
Yeah,
still be four. So you take an 8K video, you crop some out of it, and you still have 4K. So I guess that
shooting in
makes sense.
8K makes more sense than broadcasting in 8K, I think. But you're right. I think you could do with 8K video, 8K video on a 4K format, you could do neat things on the back end, like dynamically zoom. You know, like say you're NBC and you show sports, um, or you're doing like, Fox is doing football or whatever. Um, to use that effect to be able to jump around the screen and like crop out video and cut things in strange ways would be really cool. But I'm not rushing it for an 8K TV.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
wouldn't
think
need a TV that's 8K. You just want to film in 8K. So yeah,
you want to film,
that's
but they can already do that. I'm sure. I'm sure there's a $400,000 Canon camera that shoots in 20 billion K. 20 billion K. You heard it here first. The Hi There Show, UX and Live and Figma. 16,000 bit cameras. All right. If you like that, you'll love these. What do you call a
well,
strap like that on a website? I call them content aggregators.
okay. Yeah.
So the user is experienced whatever is on this page, and we want to give them some stuff at the bottom of the page to move up. Ooh, up next is cool. Maybe we need an up next component, like actually in the video player that's like, hey, you've enjoyed this. We're going to the
Yeah.
next one.
Yeah. I agree. End state,
Um,
player end state.
so I mean, if we were wireframing this for real, I would think we would have several states of this video player.
Yeah.
I'm gonna gin up one real quick that's like playing, video playing.
Get that scrub on.
Get that scrub on. I remember texting you one day and I was like, what is the name for this thing? The scrubber. I was calling it a pip. You
Oh
called it a
yeah, I do
handle.
remember that.
It was a handle. I think that's the right word.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, handle is a thing the thing in
That you grab.
yeah, an interface, something you can grab and move around. Yeah.
When you mouse over it, your mouse turns to the hand.
Yeah. And then when you grip it, it does the grippy thing.
Grip it and rip it, baby. That's what I say about the web all
Grip
the
it and
time.
rip it.
They're like, how are users gonna engage with this piece of functionality? It's like rip and grip it, baby.
Grip it and grip it. I'm gonna try and use that in a meeting.
Rip it and grip it.
I'm
I
gonna
love it.
yeah, I'm gonna sometimes I try and say silly things with a straight face and then wait to see if other people think I'm joking or not. So I'm gonna say, so we're having a workshop tomorrow where we're talking about some of our different user types and their journeys. So we've got one persona named Calvin. I don't think that's too much of a secret to divulge. We literally just made the name up.
We're both gonna get sued.
My boss was watching. He'd probably disapprove, but he's not. Probably.
You'd be like, oh, that Ian.
Oh, now we got to change our persona name.
Harumph.
So, oh wow, I see what you did there. That's cool. Like a volume icon.
This is the lazy man's volume icon. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, yeah. So we have a journey mapping for different user types. So I'm gonna be like, so is Calvin more of like what's the opposite of rip and grip? I need to frame it. Is like, is he more or is he gonna rip it and grip it?
Does he rip it and grip it, or does he, come home and watch NCIS at night?
Got it. All right. I'm gonna see if I can pull that off. Oh, the stream just dropped for a second.
Oh, am I back?
I think we're back. I think we dropped for 5 seconds.
Considering this is actually the least amount of connection issues we've had in an entire episode. All right, I'm not going to make a whole volume icon because, like, what am I? Volume
What
icon
am I,
guy?
an iconographist?
I could actually draw a really good one, but I have to be an illustrator.
That's pretty good. Sometimes
This actually shouldn't
sometimes
be on
trying
the
to draw
right
shit in Figma
whatsoever.
just doesn't work. I'm also bad at
It's not.
drawing.
There's a lot of people that are saying, like, well, you can draw in Figma, and it's like, yeah, I can.
It's
I
like,
can make a raft out of logs, but I'm still going to
yeah, it's
opt
like
for a
I could make a
boat. You know what
website
I
in
mean?
Photoshop too, but we're professionals here.
I can make a website in Notepad. Literally, I could make a website in Notepad.
I
But
made
you
my
don't want
first
me to do
website in
that for you.
Notepad.
I did front page 95. Did I just get booted?
No, you're here. The
Here.
internet's restless tonight. I think it's
Do you remember the tubes?
the two dropping and stopping. Yeah, the tubes are all clogged up. Tubes are languishing from COVID lockdowns. You see that article? There's some news about like the
Uh,
word to describe like how everyone's feeling during this, where it's somewhere between like okay and depression, languishing,
yeah, I
where
was
just
saying
like
that.
just kind of sucks and everything's like shitty and monotonous.
Malaise. Just this general feeling that things aren't right or not okay.
Oh, malaise. I like that.
I was describing it the
Sounds
other day as
exotic.
like I feel like I am. Yeah, it's like depression, but like after dark. You know what I mean? You could be depressed, or you could be experiencing malaise.
Hmm.
Mm. But I was describing it the other day as like I feel like I'm caught, especially on lockdown, because we're on a hard lockdown where we are.
Hard.
Sup, Joe Rogan. Um, I feel like I'm caught constantly halfway between being bored to tears and like run off my feet busy. Like I'm always busy doing something, but I'm so bored I want to melt into a puddle, a la Alex Mack,
Oh,
circa 2002.
the secret world of Alex Mack. I feel that. Yeah, it's like sometimes I'm bored, but I don't want to do anything.
The brain fog, the like, I feel like I could lay here and just read my phone and go to sleep, but I'm also not tired. Kind of weird. It's really strange. It's rainy this week too, which doesn't help. Also, we're designers, and you work on your laptop, and I work on my laptop. And don't get me wrong, like a lot of people work on their laptops, but I find that I'm in this loop of working all the time because I'm
Mhm.
at home.
Yeah, especially when it's rainy because I don't go outside in the morning and I'll sit down at like 8 a.m. I technically start work at 10
Mm-hmm.
because Toronto time.
That's actually good to know because now I have a time frame of when I should be expecting for you to write back to my texts. But
Yeah, but
that's okay. Go ahead.
I'm usually into something anyway, whether it's like freelance work or normal work, just sitting down with a coffee and then it's like then I work till 6. And then now that it's just light out and busy, it's like then I'll just work till 7 and then it's like 7:30
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like I'm feeding my cat and I'm like, "Oh, I guess I should eat 8 p.m."
I've got a kid here, and I find, um, I mean, with design, I'm used to you eventually have this chunk of time where you can put a concerted amount of effort into designing it, right? Like we've had all the meetings, we've written documents, we've done all these things, and now I need to just sit down with all this stuff and make it for like three
Yeah.
days. And that's what I'm used to. Um, and now I've got a kid at home and it's start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And I never get to that flow state of like, I've been thinking about this for hours. I've been moving stuff around. I've been thinking, I know what I need to do and I'm creating it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, I'm just,
That
it's
would be
snack time or it's lunchtime or
yeah,
whatever.
well, yeah, I think that's kind of why I like sitting down in the morning, even though, it's early, where because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like I can get into a state of flow sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Even just the thought, even knowing the fact that no one's gonna try and ask me anything or message me is relieving. Like knowing that no one's gonna even try and talk to me for 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
even though I've got focus time during the day. So yeah, man, I can't even imagine like just knowing that you almost like, yeah, knowing that you're not gonna get those few hours
It's like that
in.
time's not coming unless you create it at night. And I don't know. I used to be much more of a, I don't want to say go getter, but when I was younger, I could pull all nighters all the time, right? Like I'm gonna stay up until 3:30 in the morning and work on this design until I feel like it's perfect, and I'll know it's perfect. And when I present it, there's this confidence there because I've been all over it. Anyway, it's been tough. We have it easy though, don't we? We're in a boom industry right now.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I guess we've got it pretty easy. It's
Pretty damn easy. I can't imagine anything more easy than what we're doing right now, which is, by the way, how we make money.
There are worse
So
ways to get paid.
there are worse ways to get paid.
And UX designers are in demand too. I know we always have trouble finding them, and I get a ton of like, I know it's LinkedIn, and they're like just got the dragnet out, but the recruiters, man, for UX stuff, you get certain
Oh,
keywords
it's
on your
nuts.
page, and it's
Yes.
non. I had to change some stuff because it was getting too much. I'm like, I'm not going to reply to you people, but I kind of feel a little guilty about that.
Well, and
So please don't contact me.
a bit of advice for all you tech startups out there, for all you people that might be looking for a sort of senior or lead UX role. Nobody wants to work for a company they found through a recruiter. I can't say that's true 100% of the time, but it's hard to get behind a company or a product or like a vision that came from a recruiter on LinkedIn. It feels like it's a bit of a shit show.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to misspeak terribly here, but it's almost like if you have to pay, then the recruiters. I'm probably definitely wrong here, but
Okay, go for it. No, throw it
but
out there. This is a safe space for
if you have to
designers.
pay like if you have to pay people to go out looking for people to hire versus
Yeah.
like being a company that you seek out to apply to almost, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, that's not always the case, but those recruiters make, yeah, they make a lot of money. They usually get like first month's salary or something of the person.
No, really?
Because I worked at one of the places I've worked was offering $5,000 to employees who referred new hires. So this is like, damn. And they're like, we'd rather pay you this because it's cheaper than hiring a recruiter. That was Toronto though, and before COVID, where your the remote wasn't much of a thing.
Yeah. Now it's standard. I mean, you have on both sides of the fence, on all sides of the fence, designers, project managers, developers, they can now go work for whatever company they want, conceivably. The big guys, anyway. So if you're an extremely talented developer that comes from small town Nova Scotia, well, you maybe don't have a vested interest in working for a company here at all. I mean, that could be a major talent drain, could it not?
I think it will be. Um,
My biggest fear about the 100% remote, I've never met these people and I'm just going to work with them approach, is that you're way more fireable. Like a person on a webcam is just inherently way more fireable,
Interesting. Yeah.
or easy to fire rather.
Yeah, like yeah, easier. Like less like emotional connection even to things. I can't figure out why this doesn't.
What are you doing? Are you building
Uh,
a component over there?
no, I
You
was just trying to
are.
like I'm resizing it, but
Like
it's
up
making.
next?
Yeah, I was just doing that for you, but then I don't know why this stupid little play thing keeps shrinking when I don't want it to. So I'm just trying out some different stuff. There we go.
So, and I mean, we're talking about a site with a pretty custom solution here. In the world of making websites, and I suppose to a certain degree, mobile apps, custom video players are a huge nightmare issue. They're very, very difficult. Like getting one that's easy to use and easy to implement, does things like up next, like you may suggest up next as a cool feature for a video player, but actually implementing that is horrendous.
Hmm. I mean that. I
Um,
mean, I know we have a we have a
no, we're
job to do
doing,
here, but that's going back to what you said about like why everybody like goes to YouTube. It just like
yeah.
takes all the pain out of it. but of course that doesn't work for us.
Because you have to host that stuff. Like all those gigs are going through your account every time
Mm.
someone's watching a video. There are pennies coming out of your corporate bank account to host it.
Oh man, that's a whole other more of like the business and ops side of things, I guess. But I was actually dealing with that today. A client mentioned, we're going to be storing video as like a internal tool.
Mhm.
Uh, but we're going to be storing a lot of video documents, and some of those will be videos. And they're like, just want to raise that. And I'm like, that's a really good point, because we want to make sure we can, like, that's going to eat up like exponential more space than say like documents, Word docs, right? Videos can be gigabytes, and then you get a bunch of those.
Gigabytes. Well, and users have certain expectations, right? Like when I look at your video on my MacBook, I expect it to be at least 1080p, full screen, with perfect quality audio and stuff like that. So, especially on the web, there's like a scalability issue there. A lot of video players will just compress it on the fly. Like you give it your 8 GB MP4 and it will spit out different WebM versions for phones and stuff like that. However, those things are extremely expensive for a corporation to implement.
Hmm.
And then you're getting none of the social features. We were talking about this earlier. Like get it on YouTube where that piece of content can have a different life.
Mm-hmm.
I know moderating that stuff can be a bit of a chore, but I don't know. Custom video players, it's a whole racket. I work for a company that makes them. I shouldn't say racket. Hold on. Let me take that back. It's a whole effort.
Yeah.
It's a
No,
lot of effort.
we get you.
It's a lot of effort.
You know what you mean. The video player racket.
The video player racket. So we have a pretty cool approach going on here. Again, we started with a post type, and a post type is a video, and a video is a thumbnail, and it's the video content, and it's a title, and it's a date, and all these other things. I think when we get into a layout like this, so you click into a video has a single page where you can experience the content, read the rest of the description, and then move on to other stuff. It's sort of, I see it as sort of a reciprocating approach, or I've used the word reciprocating before, where we're going to get users in, they watch that first video, and then we get them on the hamster wheel of the cool content, right? Again, YouTube does this perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube spent, I don't know, what do you think? $100 million trying to figure out how to serve content the best way possible.
Yeah,
150.
Yeah, and their algorithm is interesting too. Like sometimes it's like, I've been noticing lately that it's starting to show me, I think it's trying to like make sure I don't go down a rabbit hole and like become red pilled by the alt-right or something.
Oh,
like
like
where you just
they see you leaning
spiral.
into that type of content.
Not that I'm watching that content, but like, they try and spiral. If you look at anything, they just try and like spiral you down like into the depths of that content. But now it's like I watch something and then I see like a reaction video for it by another random person that's just like talking about that video. I'm like, oh, that's
that actually
kind of
makes a lot of sense.
That must have been hard to do, because it's kind of new. Because before, yeah, I would watch a few things on YouTube and then I just see the same thing over and over again. Like I watched a review for a vacuum, and then it's just like, you must be the world's biggest vacuum lover, because
they're like,
it's like I've got recommended a video that's like 1 hour different vacuum sounds like ASMR or something, and I'm like,
holy shit. So there's a market of people out there that are like, man, I love that.
There's a whole market of people
Dyson 380
that like to listen to different vacuum cleaner sounds vacuuming stuff up off the floor.
That's fucking cool.
I didn't really wish that. I'm really actually curious about it now. But it's like,
I mean, for me personally, that's my favorite part of YouTube, is give me your ASMRs, give me your mukbangs, combine the two, and then infight in the community, and then you get to stand back and watch, and that's a good time.
Yeah, the ASMR where they put the prosthetic ear on the microphone and lick it.
That makes me want to die just hearing about it.
I hate it. I can't even,
I
I
found
wish I
it.
didn't bring it up.
I got it came up, and I like to download these like really highly promoted junk apps, like HeroQuest, but it was oh, dude, okay, hold on. You know
Like
all of
Clash
the
of
game
Clans.
ads, not even Clash of Clans. You know the one where it's like pull the sliders to help the guy get the treasure, and it's always the wrong answer, and it's always so obvious.
Okay. Yeah.
It's this one game. It's promoted everywhere. I downloaded it, and it turns out it's a mess. But the puzzles from the YouTube ads, from the Facebook ads, I got to solve, and that felt good because I had seen the ads so many times. But hold on, looping way back. I got an ASMR slime app,
Hmm.
and so you pick your slime theme, and there's like hundreds of them. It's like I don't know, like jello with like heart shapes in it, or like oil with something in it.
Okay.
And it uses sort of like your tilt sensors in your phone and sort of tactile feedback to make you feel like you're pushing slime around.
Interesting.
It had a subscription thing. It was like $8.99 a month, and we'll send you the new hot slimes every day, so you can sit here and try
Wow.
these slimes out.
Monthly.
It's incredible. There's a market. I'm not hating on ASMR. I'm just saying I want to know way more about it.
Yeah. How do I get in on this action?
Well, don't you want a thing? Imagine if you had a thing. You're like, look, I don't know how to tell you, but these people run their hands through slime, and it just takes my malaise, my lockdown
Yeah.
malaise away.
I want to find my thing
I want
now.
to find my thing. My thing is actually sitting here in Figma and wireframing websites and getting real work done with my pal on a Thursday live on YouTube. I don't
Every
have anything to
Thursday.
add to this. You know what the standout component is here? If you're working on a site like this genre lineup showing the thumbnails from the hottest videos from each one of those categories automatically. So like the client doesn't need to update that. It just does the thinking for you and then applies it to the website. That's a real standout feature that I think would make a meeting maybe about this kind of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Fresh. You'll get some fresh content every now and then. If a new thing gets popular, replace
If a
it.
new thing gets popular, well, yeah, in that row, then you've got this featured clip up top. You can actually select that. All of these videos are posted with a description. Everything splits out dynamically. That's a CMS lifestyle, y'all. Content management system.
That's
Let your
CMS
client
Lite.
edit the website.
Represent.
And I would love to get further into it versus like an open CMS versus curated. Like, what is Wikipedia versus what is a corporate website where the client can change content? Because in a lot of ways, they're very much the same thing. Like, Wikipedia is very similar to WordPress, they're just utilized in a different way.
User generated, I guess, versus
User generated. There's a great podcast. There's an artist I really like, David Cho. He's kind of a huge asshole. But he's got this podcast, and the website for their podcast, they made it a wiki. Like they used the Wikipedia engine and made the website a wiki and let any users sort of sign up and log in and edit the content for their own website. And it was gorgeous and horrible and all the right kinds of
that
all the right kinds of bad.
Sounds horrifically amazing.
Horrifically amazing. 9 out of 10 users describe the Hi There Show as horrifically amazing.
Hey, we got 10
We did
viewers.
a focus group, and the word's in. Users hate the Hi There Show.
The Hi There Show extra. The Hi There Show stinks.
News is in. Focus groups around the world say Hi There Show unlistenable. I get it. Look, I get it. But web design's cool. It's really cool and it matters. Trust me. Next time you open your phone, you'll get it. Ian, that takes us to 11 p.m.
Yep, it's the web design is going to catch on, but for now, I think that's it.
I do think, someday this whole web design, this whole internet thing, this whole clicking on videos, making them play. That's going to catch on.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big deal.
UX is going to be big too. I'm not even half joking about that. It's the demand is yet to come.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. This is a whole other discussion, but there are facets for UX design that are going to make themselves apparent
it's an industry.
very soon.
It's going to start to mature soon. I think it's People are
Speaking of
on.
maturing soon, everyone, thank you so much for listening. That is episode 10. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Print it out on your printer. Nail it to the wall. And hit it with an object. Get at us. If you have any questions or comments, check us out on Twitter. What else did they do? What do the users do? UX people. What do the users do?
Users
what is the
use.
experience of the users use?
Users
will have experience, and
have
we're
a
here to
great
curate
experience.
Have a great
yeah, it's our 10th
experience.
episode. That's dope. Yeah,
That is pretty
hit
good.
that like button 3 times.
Hold on though. Have a great experience. I think we got there. That's the new tagline for the show.
I like it.
I like it. Okay. Thank you one more time. That's
Good
the end of it.
experiences, everyone.
We'll talk to you next week.